But our range is sure. It's actually 58 to one anomaly, which was 82. Most of them are in the mid-70s.
Yes.
So you have mid-70s to high 50s, and within that range, the data points bounce.
Yep.
Okay, and they have for 17 years.
That's what I was going to ask you. How long have you? 17 years.
17 years, and the last 6 of which was conducted by independent companies. But we're also always updating the book. It's on its 12th edition. I just rewrote the entire book, plus I added 6 chapters on neuroplasticity and some of the things that happen in the brain that proves that human beings can change everything about their life through option presentation, good education, motivation, positive, and you can actually physically change the brain back to a normalized state in doing that. In the next year, we're going to be doing a study where we empty out a house and actually do MRI brain scans proving that we have physically changed the brains of people through the Jude program process, which is going to be revolutionary. So, I mean, we're doing some things that nobody would even think of 20 years ago. So it's an exciting time.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Larry Jones, Director of Development. What is the future for St. Jude's?
Well, the overall mission of the parent company, Baldwin Research Institute, is to change the industry to a treatment model that works. And that's a very, it's a very big charge. It's a very big project. And Mark talked about the research that we want to do. That would be a study that would actually show the changes that are possible. And if you look at the available data, you can see that the industry is beginning to be ready for a change. So the future is that we anticipate being able to be in a position to lead the change that we know is coming. And this is a very unique program throughout the country, because if you look at the other organizations that claim to be a non-disease, non-12-step approach, they kind of fall back on a 12-step model, or they fall back on the disease model. You know, we've always operated from the point of view that there is no disease, and people are beginning to respond positively to that. So we're trying to network with people around the country that have the same mindset and have the experience to be able to back that up as well.
And the industry is definitely changing, because for a lot of years, everything was 12-step. I mean, you didn't have any other programs out there. When we came on the scene, we said very simplistically, we are a non-12-step social educational process. And what's happened is the non-12-step model, we coined that phrase. There are alternatives. We have one with verifiable results, and you don't have to be labeled for the rest of your life. You really don't. I mean, you can get on with your life and go to college, go have the career you want, have the relationships you want. You know, the human existence isn't meant to be miserable. It's not meant, we are not on this planet to be uncomfortable, unhappy, sorrowful, suicidal. That's not why we're here. And somehow the treatment industry has decided over the last 70 years that it really is okay to relapse, that it really is okay to be miserable, that you are different and you'll always struggle. That is not true.
It's interesting, Mark. Time and time again, you always hear that relapse is part of recovery.
Yeah,
and that's something that always strikes me at my core, because if people are going to say that, they absolutely need to follow up and say, and more often than not, death can be part of relapse.
Exactly right.
Yeah, I call it, it's part of the dying process, not recovery.
Love it.
Yeah, you know, relapse is part of the dying process.
Absolutely.
Now you can do that, and we're not even, in our program, we don't hammer people with the idea that you must stay sober, because the truth is, I don't have any control over my guests.
Yeah.
You know, families don't have control over them, you know. The person is taught that they have other options, then they get to choose. And you know what? When people have options, they usually choose the better of the two.
Who has come to St. Jude's? How many people have you served? What walks of life? Who comes to St. Jude's? Who gets helped by St. Jude's?
Wow. The range in age has been from, I think, 12 to
78.
78, 12 years old.
12 years old to 78.
78. Now, do we take 12-year-olds now? We haven't. The youngest I think we've taken in the last few years is probably